Let's hear it for lifetime Longhorn, RTF's own Glen Powell.
All right, what is up, Moody? I want to thank the Dean for personally editing that video. He worked all night on that. Also, I wanted to thank you for, I don't know if you guys know this, Dean Bernhardt is leaving us, like all of you, and I just want to thank you for your commitment to this university and this college. You leave this place just a better place than you found it, and I'm just honored to be a part of your legacy and your journey, and yeah, Moody loves you. Well, good afternoon, graduates, parents, faculty, class of 2023. This is your captain speaking. Estimating our journey here is going to take about 10 minutes, then we're going to be coming to our final destination, the rest of your lives. Forecasting clear skies, open bars, weird advice from relatives with a chance of tears. Just try to sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. If you don't know me, I was born and raised a Longhorn. My parents taught me how to curl my hands into a proper hook'em before I was even able to walk. I shot my first movie, Spy Kids 3D Game Over, at Austin Studios. I went to Magic Camp in Hancock Park. I went to sports camps here. I volunteered as a ticket usher at football games. And after a lot of pep talks, I finally kissed my high school crush in the shadow of the Stevie Ray Vaughan statue. And this morning I worked out with Bijan Robinson, so I'm extremely hyped and extremely sore. I was a radio, television, film major at Moody. I did the University of Texas at Los Angeles program. And no matter where I am in the world, I have never missed watching a Texas OU game. My grandparents met on this campus. My parents are both Longhorns. My sister's a Longhorn. My cousins are Longhorns. Aunt Honey, Aunt Taffy, and Aunt Crystal, and my little bro, Bryce Lord, who's graduating here today. Love you, Bryce. My favorite people on this planet are Longhorns, and I am proud to say this is the most racially, ethnically, and economically diverse class to ever graduate from Moody. The invitation to be with you here today is by far the coolest thing that has ever happened to me. I really, really care about all of you, and I really care about this moment for you. So I wanted to arm you with everything I could as you journey out into the world for the first time. So I tried to remember what it was like to be where you are right now. And then I remembered I never graduated, so I've never been where you are right now. So technically you're ahead of me right now, so I'm not really sure I'm the one giving you advice, but I've lived a little and I've learned a lot. So like a protective big brother, I'm just gonna give you as much advice in the next few minutes as I possibly can before you leave the house and head out into the real world. So I'll give it all I got. Learn how to change a tire. It's a cool trick, but it's not really about your tire. It's about showing up for people when they need you most. Look people in the eye, but not for too long. There's a time limit, and you're going to have to kind of feel that out for yourself. Don't believe in ghost stories. When I had the opportunity to move out to LA, I looked at acting as a dream, not a real career. All my buddies who moved to Hollywood, moved back to Texas with their tail between their legs, completely shattered, the magic beaten out of them. They warned me of the odds and the horrors waiting for me there, but I didn't believe in the ghost stories. Now, if you know me, you know I've wanted to be a storyteller my entire life. I love making movies, I love watching movies, I love talking about movies. My first biography in elementary school was on Steven Spielberg and his use of groundbreaking special effects. And tomorrow, I head to Oklahoma to the set of Twisters with Steven Spielberg to make history with new groundbreaking special effects. Now, one of my favorite movies growing up was Dazed and Confused, directed by Texas's own Richard Linklater. And this fall, I premiere a movie that I wrote and produced with Richard Linklater. I am living the magic of my childhood dream. And it might not have happened if I listened to people that tried to convince me that magic doesn't exist. So don't let the magic, don't let the ghosts of other people's past haunt your future. No good story happens from things going right. My granddad always said this: the greatest gifts in life are not in the plans, they're in the detours. There is no way I could plan my way to being on the stage. I have failed a lot more and a lot longer than I have succeeded. I didn't originally get the role in Top Gun that I auditioned for, and it's worked out better than I could have ever even imagined. So if you want your life to be a great story, like a great movie, if you want it filled with adventure, comedy, romance, action, thrills, when you go out there and things inevitably don't go according to plan, just remember that's when your movie's plot is just getting interesting. That's when your protagonist is being tested. That's when the writers are working overtime to give the audience some nail-biting drama. Enjoy things not going according to plan. If you knew the ending, it wouldn't be worth the watch. No good story happens from things going right. Choose your top 5. Now, some of you may have found luck spinning the roulette wheel with a random potluck roommate here, but in the real world, do not go potluck on your roommates. And definitely don't go potluck on your friends. The 5 friends closest to you will define how you interact with your dreams and with the world. Surround yourself with people who make you more generous, more ambitious, smarter, funnier, kinder. Be deliberate about these people. Parasites always find a host. Choose the right friends, and you can soar to beautiful places. Find your top 5. Do not let them go. Be your own agent. I was living in a hot garage in Van Nuys, California. I was making money doing odd jobs. I was told to leave many times. Most of the time I couldn't even get in the room to audition because casting directors would say things like, Glen Powell would be lucky to get cast on CSI as a dead body. That's a true thing that was said to me. But I had to see failure as the beginning and the middle, but never entertain it as the end. So like a lesson I learned on 6th Street, don't let the bouncer keep you out. There's always a back door. I decided to not take no for an answer. I found someone who would sneak me the breakdowns of what was casting. I got access to casting director emails, and for a couple years, I would send an audition out pretty much every day to no response. I would make calls for myself under a fictitious name at a fictitious management company, and eventually I found another way in. Small parts became bigger parts, and soon enough, I wasn't the only person fighting for me. The lesson here is sometimes no one's gonna believe in you. Pick up the phone and be your own agent. And I'll just gonna rattle off a few quick ones here. Drink tequila to celebrate, not to cope. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Never eat Indian food before cardio. Fight to save the planet. And also fight to save Dirty Martins. Dress for the part you want. My senior year of high school, I auditioned for a movie called The Great Debaters that Denzel Washington directed. If you haven't seen it, it's a wonderful movie. I was auditioning to play a member of the Harvard debate team, so I drove out to Shreveport, Louisiana from Austin, Texas to audition for Denzel Washington. Now, after my audition for Denzel, I got a call from him saying that he wanted me for the part, but the producers weren't convinced. They didn't think I looked old enough or polished enough for the role. So he was gonna invite me to the table read with all the other actors that had been cast. And he told me, this is your moment, prove them wrong. So in order to look more mature, I wore a tuxedo to the table read. If you don't know the appropriate attire of a table read, it's the most casual thing of all time. It's the equivalent of wearing a tuxedo to get your car washed. I looked insane, but when it came time to give my speech, I stood up and delivered my speech right to Oprah, Forrest Whitaker, and Denzel Washington, and I got hired on the spot. The point is, dress for the job you want. Don't be afraid to look silly. Be unapologetic about who you are. Don't let other people's opinions or judgment affect how much you care. Go all in. Wear the tuxedo. Never come to a party empty-handed. As Texans going out into the world representing this university and this state, it is important to remember this one. First, I mean this literally. When you go to someone's home, bring something. Beer, dessert, ribs, queso. It's a beautiful thing to break bread with someone, share a drink with someone, never take it for granted. But I also mean never come to a party empty-handed, metaphorically. When no one would hire me as an actor, I'd write scripts, option books and articles, raise money for projects, anything I could do to be an asset. In life, don't focus on someone else trying to give you the job. Come, bring something to the table. No matter where you are, you have something to offer. So I urge you to interact with the world like Santa Claus. Give with no intention to receive. The world doesn't owe you anything, so don't just come to the party and expect a drink. Bring the six-pack, make the queso. Good things come to those who do. Write thank you notes. I cannot stress this one enough. Send out thank you notes to everyone, not because you want to leave an impression on a superior or you want anything out of it. Take a moment to write a thank you note to a friend who dropped you off at the airport, to the person who helped you find your dog. If you really take a second to approach every interaction with a grateful heart, the world becomes a more beautiful place, and wonderful things will happen around you and for you. When in trouble, gain altitude. While shooting Top Gun Maverick, Tom Cruise trained us relentlessly to look like real pilots, and eventually I decided to get my license and become a real pilot. Now, as I was training, my instructor taught me that if you're having issues with your plane, if you're having an emergency, get to a higher altitude. Now, altitude means time to solve your problem, but it also means perspective, to see everything around you. So in life, when you feel like you're in trouble, try to get above the problem. Try to find some altitude. When you pull back far enough, problems seem small and solutions seem clear. And with that perspective, never forget to take it all in. It's amazing what you'll see and learn by just appreciating the view. Another lesson that Top Gun taught me, life is like a shirtless dogfight football montage. Even if it doesn't make sense, just lather yourself in coconut oil and keep playing. Don't get too comfortable. If your nest is too comfortable, it really makes it hard to find the motivation to fly. It is really easy to go through life not challenging yourself, but I promise there is fun in the failure. Be content, but always be hungry. You're graduating, not retiring. Change is uncomfortable, embrace it. Keep your horns up. After you walk off this stage, keep repping the burnt orange. Wear Longhorn gear on every corner of the planet. It represents a common love. It represents a common experience. It's amazing the friends that you'll meet, the experiences you'll have when you do. And I promise the co-op didn't send me. I don't even get a discount code, but just rep the merch anyway. Track the climb. Journal as much as you can. Memories are all you have. You are going to live a lot of life in the next few years. You are going to forget a lot more than you remember. Even a line or two every day can help you time travel. I look back on my perspective in certain moments, the things I valued, the things I worried about, even just venting about the size of your apartment or the size of the bugs in that apartment. The memories you cherish later are usually the most torturous in the present. When you get to the top of the mountain, nobody looks up. They look back at where they came from, what they overcame. Track the climb. It's a lot more interesting than the summit. And when you get to the summit, don't rest on your laurels. Send the elevator back down and help others. I don't know if most mountains have elevators, but I didn't graduate, so I can't be sure. Be a Longhorn. Know that communication is a superpower. Your superpower is shaping opinion, and therefore guiding action, and therefore shaping history. You have the opportunity to be a superhero or a supervillain. When used correctly, communication can change the world. When used incorrectly, it can destroy worlds. We are in a dangerous age of misinformation, but as you go out and shape opinion, make sure to remember the idealism that you feel right now. Not the money you want to receive, but the legacy you want to leave. In a world that's guided by clickbait algorithms, don't lose your ability to tell the truth and to seek the truth. Create your own algorithm. Don't be a sheep, be a Longhorn. Also, stop looking at TikTok influencers for life advice. They're not there for you. They're there for the same algorithm. So if you want wisdom, get off your phone, talk to your elders, especially veterans. I have learned more about life and perspective while living among our men and women in uniform on naval bases and aircraft carriers. Thank your veterans. You are able to pursue your dreams because we have brave men and women sacrificing for those freedoms. Never forget how things are paid for. I know you're all looking to walk out the door, and like the big brother I promised I would be, I know I've thrown a lot at you, but that's the point, isn't it? To be inundated and overwhelmed with perspectives and possibilities. And like this speech, life's not always going to be cohesive or have a theme. It's not always going to make sense. But the best thing is to embrace the chaos and give it all you got. So wear the tux, make the queso, and when you see someone with a flat tire, I hope you're ready. Go out there and give them hell. The eyes of the world are upon you. The eyes of Texas are upon you. Hook 'em horns.